Hello and welcome back to Surly Thames. Now, in this episode, I'm covering a movie by the name of AUTOMATA. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it because there could have been AUTOMATA, but AUTOMATA seemed pretty close because later on in the film they refer to an automaton. This movie didn't even break even. It had about 7 million as an estimated budget, and it only brought in a little over 6 million. Usually a film has to make about 3 times its amount to actually make any profit. Starring Antonio Banderas as a character by the name of Jacques Falcon, of course, of Desperado, the Mask and Legend of Zorro, my favorite, which would be 13th Warrior, and more recently Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which, from what I understand, was not very good at all. Also, his ex-wife, Melanie Griffith, as Draw Dupree. I first found out about her in a movie called Cherry 2000, way, way back, and in Bonfire of the Vanities. She's really not done a lot recently. I would say a lot of notable work. Dylan McDermott as Wallace, kind of a villain, of course, in Hamburger Hill. The Cowboy Way was the first one that really I recognized, and more recently, an American Horror Story. Now, Robert Forster, personal favorite. He was Antonio Banderas' boss in this movie. Of course, from The Black Hole, Jackie Brown, and Me, Myself, and Irene. Those are the three that I recognize him from. And of course, Javier Bardem. From No Country for Old Men, I recognize him most from Skyfall, James Bond film, and more recently, Dune. Now, this is a movie I picked up at my local Dollar Tree a few years ago. This feels a lot like Blade Runner. It's a story about an insurance agent played by Antonio Banderas, whose job it is to assess whether malfunctioning robots are the responsibility of the corporation that he represents. And unlike Asimov's 3 rules of robotics, there are 2 protocols that robots must follow. They are not to harm any form of life or alter themselves in any or others in any way. As I said, I found the film at the local dollar store, and it was just one of those impulse buys to where it looked like it might be interesting to watch. A lot of times when you go to find films at the Dollar Tree, it's not necessarily because you're looking for a certain title. You just kind of take what you can get. This just so happened to be one of those films. I gave it just under a perfect score. Now, for the writing, which I thought was good, I gave it a 1. The acting, everybody was on point, so I mean, it got a 1. Directing, you can't really look at this movie and say that the directing was bad if everything else was on point. And the production, without a doubt, it was a 1. The sets, the designing, everything was really, really good. Now, was it for me? I thought it ran a little slow. I thought the timing was off just ever so slightly. So for me, it was a 0.5. Undeniably a good movie, but it just fell short a little bit for me, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I would suggest it for anybody who likes this form of film, or if you are a fan of iRobot or, as I stated, Blade Runner. This was a good movie. But like I said, I it wasn't the perfect film for me. So, like I said, I gave it a 0.5. So I got a 4.5, which is above average, way above average. But, well, thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.